I had to sleep with other men for my husband. I had no choice. In a bustling city, tucked away in a cozy neighborhood, lived the Samuels family. Derek and Keisha Samuels were the heart and soul of their home, along with their 3 lovely kids, 2 daughters, Candy and Lorraine, and their energetic son, Chris. Life was all sunshine and giggles. The family was a stand-up one in the community, with a lot of friends within the neighborhood. Derek was an incredibly hard-working man, and the family's main breadwinner, allowing Keisha to be the director and CEO of the home as a housewife. The family lived comfortably and were the envy of many until a dark cloud crashed into their lives. It was just another Monday when disaster struck. Derek was on his way home when he got into a nasty accident. The accident was severe and left Derek hospitalized and in a bad state. Keisha and the kids' lives were turned upside down. In a blink of an eye, the Samuels' world came crashing down, and there seemed to be nothing the family could do. Days turned into weeks, turning into months, and medical bills started increasing rapidly. With Derek out of action, money became scarcer as the family's savings started to disappear. More time went by, and the Samuels found themselves swimming in a sea of debt. Their once cozy home now felt like a sinking ship, with creditors banging on the door like they owned the place. Keisha, usually the rock of the family, felt like she was being crushed under the weight of it all. She put on a brave face for the kids, but inside, she was drowning in worry. More bills kept coming in, and the family started to fall behind on mortgage payments. Keisha needed money to prevent the family from losing their home, and she needed that money fast. Then one day, Keisha met up with her old friend Melissa, who was a well-to-do woman who seemed to live larger than life. Keisha shared her predicament with Melissa and asked for a loan. Melissa advised that she could give Keisha a loan. However, she thought it would be better to show Keisha how to make money as a housewife. Melissa told Keisha that she had a get-rich-quick scheme that would ensure Keisha didn't lose their home and could pay off all their bills. She introduced Keisha to the seedy world of prostitution, promising fast cash and no questions asked. Keisha was appalled at first, but as bills kept stacking up, Keisha found herself considering the unthinkable. With a heavy heart and a sinking feeling in her gut, Keisha took the plunge into the murky waters of the night. Each rendezvous left her feeling dirtier than a mud wrestler, but she gritted her teeth and soldiered on for the sake of her family. The worst part didn't end there, and one faithful night, Keisha couldn't find childcare for little Lorraine and had to take her along with her to one of her appointments, where Lorraine was kept in the living room as Keisha and her client got down to business upstairs. This became a reoccurring thing, and Keisha made little Lorraine swear to secrecy, even though she couldn't quite understand what was going on in the first place. As the weeks dragged on, Derek started to recover and regain his capacity, but it was slow, which prevented him from being able to return to work. Keisha felt like she was living a double life. By day, she was the devoted wife and mom, but by night, she was someone else entirely. Someone she barely recognized in the mirror. The guilt ate away at her like termites in a rotting tree, but she pushed it aside, telling herself it was all for her family. But fate has a twisted sense of humor, they say. One night, as Keisha and Lorraine made their way home from a job, they ran into Derek on the street with his friend, whom he had met during his hospital stay. Unbeknownst to Derek, his friend John was one of Keisha's regular clients. John's eyes bored into Keisha with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine, and her heart sank like a stone in her chest. Derek noticed the exchange, his brow furrowing in confusion. "Do you know my wife?" he asked John, his voice tinged with suspicion. John hesitated for a moment, his gaze flickering between Keisha and Derek. "No, I don't think so," he replied finally before hastily taking his leave. Keisha's mind raced as she struggled to process the encounter. She had been careful to keep her secret life hidden from Derek, but now it seemed that her carefully constructed facade was on the verge of crumbling. The fear of discovery gnawed at her like a hungry beast, threatening to tear her world apart. But fate had other plans in store for Keisha and John. Despite their initial attempt to keep their relationship purely transactional, their encounters grew increasingly intimate, and before they knew it, they had fallen deeply in love. It was a love born from desperation and despair, but it burned with a fierce intensity that neither of them could deny. As their relationship blossomed, so too did their desire to be rid of Derek, the unwitting obstacle standing in the way of their happiness. They concocted a plan to get rid of him by hiring a hitman to take Derek out of the picture. It was a risky gambit, but they were willing to risk it all for the chance to be together. Unbeknownst to them, their plans were overheard by Lorraine, who had accompanied her mother on one of her rendezvous. The little girl's heart clenched with fear as she listened to their conversation, her loyalty torn between her love for her father and her desire to protect her mother. In the end, it was love that won out, and she made the difficult decision to confide in her father, sharing what she had heard in a trembling voice and consumed with tears. Derek's world shattered when Lorraine revealed the truth, his heart breaking into a million pieces as he struggled to come to terms with the betrayal. He confronted Keisha, his voice trembling with anger and hurt, demanding answers to questions he was afraid to ask. Tears streamed down Keisha's cheeks as she broke down, her facade crumbling like a sandcastle in the face of the storm. She confessed the truth to Derek, laying bare the painful reality of their situation. She told him about her desperate bid to support their family, about her relationship with John, about the love that had blossomed between them in the darkest of times. Derek listened in stunned silence, his mind reeling with the weight of her words. He felt like he had been punched in the gut, the air knocked out of his lungs as he struggled to process the truth. But amidst the pain and betrayal, there was a glimmer of understanding, a flicker of compassion that softened the edges of his anger. Derek was consumed with confusion. On one hand, he blamed himself. He knew Keisha only resulted to such desperate measures because of his accident and incapacity. But on the other hand, he felt pained, betrayed, and overwhelmed with jealousy whenever he visualized Keisha allowing other men to touch her for money. However, in the end, it was love that prevailed. Despite the hurt and betrayal, Derek found it in his heart to forgive Keisha. He recognized the desperate lengths she had gone to in order to protect their family. He asked Keisha to promise to never resort to such actions again if the family ever encountered unavoidable challenges. He also enrolled Keisha in a beauty school to help her learn a trade that could fetch an income if need be. As Keisha and Derek held each other in the aftermath of the storm, they knew that their love was strong enough to weather even the darkest of nights. For more stories, please like and subscribe.